Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon poison water-type Pokemon Skrelp and its relatively rare poison dragon-type evolution Dragalge, the two collectively known as the Mock Kelp Pokémon. Though they might be an unsightly set of beasts to many, the members of the Skrelp family are still potent creatures that can use their camouflage and toxic powers to make a horrid name for themselves in the water.
Skrelp have awkward-looking brown bodies with a purple ribbed belly and lower face, have pyramid-shaped blue fins on the side of their torso, and a larger fin-like apparatus stuck to the back of their neck by a thin piece of brown flesh. Their bodies end with a three-part tail, and the head has an odd brown cap that covers it, their black-rimmed red eyes helping to grant them a diseased and rotted appearance. Their evolved form, Dragalge, retain a similar sort of appearance, but have much larger bodies that are even more distorted in form, with flanges of flesh hanging off multiple parts of their bodies to make them look very much like diseased, rotted kelp. Their fins are now very long and wispy with a sickly brown color, while they also have a fleshy crown of pink flesh on their head with two green horn-like growths, their face coming to a point at the end of their thin mouths as they gaze out at others menacingly.
Pokemon like the members of the Horsey family have managed to survive in the wild surprisingly well as a result of their ability to reproduce in large numbers and learn a number of powerful attacks even at a young age. But some species are not so lucky and thus must find different ways of surviving. This is especially the case with the members of the Skrelp family.
Unlike their contemporaries, these beasts are still fairly weak at a young age, are poor swimmers, and cannot reproduce in large numbers, so they have been forced to find ways to alleviate this issue and deal with this population pressure in a unique fashion, especially since they are often preyed upon by many of the oceanic predators that occupy their primary habitats. As with some species of non-Pokemon seahorses, their answer to this predation issue is to utilize camouflage to adapt a form that looks, smells, and tastes exactly like something that no one else wants to eat. In their case, it's rotten kelp. Not surprisingly, rotten kelp, just like anything else that is rotting, is a nasty sight and is not that appetizing to most, minus Skrelp, who rely on it as a main food resource, making it one of the best ways of keeping one's species alive, though this choice of camouflage has also had some serious biological repercussions as well. While these beasts are able to imitate the motion and appearance of rotten kelp and even mimic its smell, taste is the hardest defense to develop and has forced the members of the Skrelp family to mimic its taste by developing a system of poison sacs in their bodies. On the downside, this retards their growth considerably and ensures they do not reach adulthood and evolution until fairly late in their lives. On the upside though, it has also made them the only aquatic Pokemon that are also primary poison types and has given them access to a wide variety of nasty attacks that most Pokemon and humans alike cannot stand to be hit with. The fact that their poison type powers are more advanced than their water type powers can make them a bit of a problem to deal with in most cases, but seeing as they are among the few water type Pokemon that have mastered the use of both poison type offenses and defenses, it is fairly safe to say that competition has not been too much of a pressure to overcome. It is noted though that this does not always mean that they can easily be spotted even by expert eyes when in their native habitat, so individuals that enjoy taking a swim out to kelp beds will have to be careful that they don't underestimate these beasts in the slightest, especially in the case of Dragalge.
Not surprisingly, this in turn feeds into their possible abilities, as these creatures naturally and regularly exude poison from every part of their bodies, in turn possessing Poison Point and Poison Touch as base abilities. Though individuals that are able to more effectively churn their toxins and other natural powers to amplify their strength can also have adaptability as a hidden ability.
As far as the stats are concerned, and looking at the draconic and toxic powers of Dragalge, it can be seen that these beasts are very slow-moving on account of their awkward anatomy and do not have a great deal of stamina or physical power to work with, so their base HP, attack, and speed stats are below average for fully evolved poison and dragon-type Pokemon. However, they can still take quite a bit of punishment and can make better use of their special attacks than most other toxic beasts, so the base defense and special attack stats are above average for a fully evolved poison-type Pokemon, and the base special defense stat is above average for a fully evolved poison and dragon-type Pokemon, allowing them to take a decent beating and have plenty of chances to use their natural powers to whittle away at their opposition with little remorse. Skrelp by themselves are fairly weak creatures and do not have a lot to offer in the way of seriously strong attacks until close to the normal point of evolution, but their nasty coloration and coordinated muscle movements enable them to cling and blend in with rotting kelp beds surprisingly well, even to the point where they can become almost indistinguishable.
This is the whole point of their adaptation, of course, so it is not surprising they have managed to make a good life for themselves in the regions they occupy, often sticking close to Pokemon like Dhelmise in the wild when they are in the same habitat.
Most of the time, these creatures will try to swim away from an offending target if they are spotted, and use a combination of smokescreen and acid moves to repel attackers. This same strategy is used by Skrelp when trying to feed, confusing small fish and other organisms that get too close to them as they are hiding in kelp before dousing them in acid and effectively slurping up their insides with their small suction-like mouth. This sneak attack strategy, sadly, is about the only thing these creatures have going for them, as they are otherwise limited to physical attacks like Poison Tail or even Aqua Tail for serious offense, the latter of which they don't even acquire until fairly late in life. The fact that these beasts don't evolve for a very long time can make them difficult to make great use of in battle, but despite this, they can still use a few nasty surprises in battle to put off the opposition, hopefully long enough for them to win, or otherwise escape in the wild, finding a new place to hide as they quietly store energy in preparation for evolution.
While Skrelp are considered to be partial water types by default as a result of their completely aquatic lifestyle, it seems that adapting using rotten kelp as a base to camouflage against has had a toxic and truly profound effect on their anatomy and evolution.
The poisons that Skrelp have in use within their bodies start off fairly benign at a young age, but continue to increase in concentration and toxicity as they develop. As this happens, these toxins seem to have a mutagenic effect on their genes, slowly turning them into something foreign and beyond abnormal in the wild. By the time they have stored enough energy to evolve, the toxicity of their bodies internally is so high that it causes a spontaneous mutation in evolution, changing their DNA in such a way as to activate hidden draconic genes within their cells and force them to effectively lose their water-type assignment and instead becomes Earth-only native Dragon-type Pokemon able to naturally use strong toxins in battle, with them generating their draconic energy by sticking the plume at the top of their head out of the water and processing solar energy gathered from it. This strange mutation, however, is not completely unexpected, as it would biologically connect them to the members of the Horsey family, and therefore suggest that the two families likely share a common ancestor. Nonetheless, this strange combination grants these creatures a fairly unique set of attacks and techniques that can make them a hassle in battle. While both Skrelp and Dragalge are able to naturally learn the powerful Dragon Pulse attack late in life, Dragalge go one step further in also being able to learn the Outrage attack, though they are not as effective at using it as some other Dragon types because of the lower physical strength. Dragalge are also a far cry ahead of their pre-evolved form in terms of toxicity, even if they tend to rely on basic ambush tactics while hiding in rotten kelp beds, as they can spit acid so corrosive that it can melt through the hull of a tanker and ensure that the target falls to the bottom of the sea every time as a result. Which is a real problem, as Dragalge are highly territorial and indiscriminately spit this toxic acid at almost anything that dares to even get close to them. The only exception are Dhelmise, as a result of the protective symbiotic relationship they possess with Skrelp in places like the Alola region. There are even stories out there that tell of many ships that accidentally sailed into their territory that are never seen again, supposedly from these beasts literally melting the boats to nothing and then eating the passengers for food. These tales are a bit over the top in their theatrics though, as Dragalge do not seem to actually enjoy attacking humans for some reason, even when their territory is violated. More research though is needed to understand why this is the case. What can be said though is that these beasts are extremely dangerous and can more than take a few hits in battle without flinching much, though this is also likely a product of them mastering the art of blending in and not moving much at all in their rotten kelp habitats. Trainers looking to overcome these beasts in battle will have to take full advantage of the type weaknesses and possibly bring some metallic armor to win, though weaker armor may not be able to do much to prevent exceptional damage from these monsters' toxic spray.
These monsters are without a doubt some of the most vile beasts I have ever seen, and given how many icky poison-type Pokemon are out there in the world, that is more than saying something. While they might not appear to be all that dangerous at first glance to some, their bodies exude toxins in the water that makes any fight with them a nasty proposition no matter what the situation might be. The fact that they only retain water-type attributes in their base stage of evolution is certainly an odd trait, but the Dragon-type power they can wield as adults more than compensates for this, and gives them the chance to be a dire threat even to the fairer types that many Dragon-types are nearly weak against. Even being around them can be a pain, as even if you can't smell them in the water, on land, their putrid stench is horrifying and really makes it seem like they are diseased and rotten. when in truth that horrid smell is actually a sign that they are actually quite healthy and strong. I won't knock anyone that genuinely wishes to use these creatures in battle. More power to you, I say, if you can wait long enough to evolve them from a young age. Otherwise, I'd advise others to keep clear of them and not let their guard down in their presence, lest you potentially meet with a gross and untimely fate, courtesy of their metal-melting attacks.
While it might take an expert in the type specialties to really make the most of them, the members of the Skrelp family are still potent creatures that can more than make themselves into a terrible menace that all should fear and take note of. It can require a great deal of effort to get them access to their best attacks, but it can still be worth it if you're looking to bring some serious toxic offense to any battlefield.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you bring protective equipment if you choose to confront these creatures in the wild. They might not be inherently aggressive towards others most of the time, but if you make the wrong move and grab the wrong piece of apparent rotting plant matter, you might find yourself with a face full of corrosive liquid that will likely end your search prematurely, and potentially your life in turn.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.